I live in Northeast Maryland, about 10 miles from the Delaware border.
Wonderful. So you've been sitting back, and thank you, by the way, for sliding a little time here for
It's all
Aaron.
right. Aaron's one of my heroes too. So,
what have you been getting out of all this today? As yes, it's your book. You guys have worked hard for this, but what are you getting out of this?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a professional writer. I'm an artist.
Right.
But everything I do is a narrative, and so maybe that's part of it. I believe there's enough space for everyone to succeed. And I want to encourage people to strive for that success. And so if sharing personal, authentic, sensitive stories shows someone else that, like, oh, you too? And, you know, when you read this book, you're not just going to go to one chapter. Oh, you too? You're going to go to the next chapter. And you as well?
Yes.
Like, wait a minute. Is it everybody going through these kinds of things?
Right.
And that was really the most valuable message that I gained from the book and working with these wonderful entrepreneurs and, you know, book buddy, writing partners.
Yeah.
It was that realization, because entrepreneurship can be very isolated. And so by coming together and realizing, you know, suffering is universal, but also everyone is more remarkable than they give themselves credit.
Yes, absolutely true. The more you read the book, the more you'll realize that, because of the transparency and the vulnerability that comes out of the book. Now, you are known as the gentle artist.
The gentleman artist, yes.
Yeah. So the paintbrush is your main tool as an entrepreneur. Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, what is a paintbrush? On one hand, it's a bundle of hair fastened to the end of a stick, about the most primitive tool you can imagine. On the other hand, it is literally a magic wand, because with it, the artist can create visions that transport you to other worlds, that change your life. And the most impactful experience, the earliest, most impactful experience I had in my life was visiting the Sistine Chapel at 7 years old.
Wow.
And it was truly magical. It was in that moment my fate was sealed. I was in that space, surrounded by, you know, adults. Everyone's bigger than me at that point. And this was before the restoration, so it was still all smoky and dark and mysterious from centuries of candle soot. And the restored Sistine Chapel is marvelous and wonderful, but I still feel like we lost something when it was cleaned up.
Yes.
But I stood in that space. I didn't understand a lot of what I was looking at. Because of the darkness, it was difficult to see a lot of what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. But there was a feeling, a vibe. This was a special place, and I just wanted to stay there. I looked at that and I said, I want to do whatever this is. I want to create spaces that create these experiences.
Now, you also, in your chapter, you are not as good as you think you are. You tell the story about the agent that told you, quote, "You are not as good as you think you are, but I believe in how good you're going to be." The power of belief. How important is that?
It's incredibly important. Self-belief is incredibly important, but the encouragement of others can be so precious and valuable. So, not to give too much away from the chapter, but that is one of the most useful things anybody has ever said to me. It's a little bit like those jokes that start out with, "Tell me something that will make me happy and sad at the same time."
Right.
You know, it was a little bit of that kind of moment. But it was also functional. See, as a visionary, I can leap way ahead in my mind to what a finished painting will look like, what a finished sculpture will look like, what my life will look like when I've, you know, succeeded or whatever that is. And I can see it as clearly as if it's now. And it can become difficult for me anyway to see the space in between.
As a visionary myself, I understand what you're talking about. We see
Yeah.
down the tunnel. It's
Yeah.
stuff in between we often miss.
Right. Right. And so maybe in that moment, I needed to be taken down a peg. Maybe I wasn't as far along that journey as I thought I was. But at the very same time, he said, I believe in how good you are going to be. And remember the fact he was already my agent. So he had already, attached himself to my success in a meaningful way. He'd invested himself in my success in a meaningful way. So the combination of those messages is what made it one of the most useful things that anybody's ever said to me.
You also talk briefly in this book, and we're not going to give away your chapter, but reframing the meaning of failure, from failure to feedback.
Yes.
So many people get hit by failure and it crushes them, take them out of the game. What a great concept.
Yes. Okay, for starters, if you failed at something, it means you tried something you're not very good at yet. It means you tried something. That deserves congratulations rather than condemnation. Failure. And so what you did, you said, I want this, and I'm going to follow this plan to get it. You've made the best plan you knew how to make. And then you went for it. All of that deserves congratulations. Failure is feedback. Failure showed up and said, okay, good try, but you forgot to think about this, or you didn't know that you needed to account for that, or there's a little bit more information required, or you did well, but your execution can be improved. That's all that's happening with failure.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs that consider themselves visionaries. I've been tagged that myself over my career, but translating the vision into action is one of the hardest steps for many entrepreneurs. You are a visionary. You can see the blank canvas and you know what you're going to do there. What advice would you have for those that are in that place of, I see the vision, but I can't articulate it?
I can see the vision, but I can't articulate it?
Yeah. Tell other people.
Okay.
Bring them into the vision.
Find the language. I mean, I tell people that I'm an artist because I can't do math. Search for the language. Here's one of the funny things about artists. I like to think is that we're groping at the edges of conceptual reality. We're feeling around in the dark, and we perceive things out there at the fringes of what people understand. A lot like Aaron, it's like being blind, and you're feeling, you're perceiving, and you go, oh, okay, there's that thing. Oh, there's this other thing over here, and they seem to connect, and I'm starting to understand something, but there's no vocabulary for it.
Yes.
And so we sing, we dance, we make pictures. We're doing it's like dream language. We're doing the best we can to articulate something for which there is no language.
Yes.
Find your language. Search for how to articulate the value of what you do. If you lay awake at night dreaming of doing that thing, if it thrills you to want to do that thing, there will be people in the world who will be thrilled to have it for the same reasons you are inspired to do it. So what you're looking for is the vocabulary of your tribe, of that group of people.
Cameron, that's a home run right there. Thank you very much. Was doing this book, being a part of this, fun for you?
Sure, because, it pushed you. It pushed me. And I think everybody got pushed by it. We all wear masks, right?
Yeah.
And especially as entrepreneurs, especially as professionals, there's the person and there's the persona. And so most of us started out in teacher mode. It's like, here's the lessons I've learned as an entrepreneur. Now go do that. And Kira and Lee kept pushing us like, no, that's not what we're doing here. That's not what this is. Tell your authentic story. And that's really frightening.
Yes.
It's like, what if people know these things about me? And I was like, yeah, that's the point. Because what we want them to know, this is why I really got invested in that part of it.
Yeah.
If me sharing something that may feel embarrassing to me shows someone else who's on the verge of success, whose life could be changed in an instant, that they're not alone. Their experience is unique to them, but it's not thoroughly unique. And if they read and go, oh, wow, it's them too?
Yeah.
And they're where they are, maybe I can make it too. That's why I did this. That's what I really want. That's why I went all in with the emotional revelations and things that I haven't even told family members.
Well, Cameron, thanks for taking the time to do it. Thanks for putting it all in there. It's a great read.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your book launch tonight. Thank you.